Donald Trump just announced new military strikes on Venezuela. He says, quote, "This morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a second kinetic strike against positively identified extraordinarily violent drug trafficking cartels and narco-terrorists in the South Com area of responsibility." We know all that. He also says, quote, "The strike occurred while these confirmed narco-terrorists from Venezuela were in international waters transporting illegal narcotics, a deadly weapon poisoning Americans heading to the U.S. These extremely violent drug trafficking cartels pose a threat to U.S. national security, foreign policy, and vital U.S. interests. The strike resulted in 3 male terrorists." Again, we don't know anything about who these people were. The last time they blew up a ship of 11 people who they told us were terrorists. There was no due process, by the way. And even if they were smuggling drugs, which does not necessarily qualify as being a terrorist, and they weren't, by the way, they were Venezuelan fishermen. They didn't get prosecuted, they didn't get arrested. They were bombed indiscriminately, and that seems to be the same thing that happened here. So take everything Trump says with a massive, massive grain of salt. Here's the rest of what he said. "No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Be warned, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you. The illicit activities by these cartels have wrought devastating consequences on American communities for decades, killing millions of American citizens no longer. Thank you for your attention to this matter." I want to show you the video again real quick, so everybody can see exactly what happened. This is what the president posted, okay? Watch this. That's the boat. Destroyed. Trump trying to show us the power of the Department of War, the power of the military industrial complex, which Trump campaigned on being opposed to. He said he would be the no new wars president. And now we are blowing up random Venezuelan boats in the middle of the ocean. They just failed the first mission by failing the 11 innocent people they unalived by blowing them to smithereens. And now they are trying to do better by blowing up more terrorists, even though they didn't get any bad guys the first time around, and they most likely didn't do that this time around. These people could have been whoever, but they'll tell us that they were terrorists. And this is just another distraction from the Epstein files, another distraction from Trump's failed economic policy at home. And a lot of people are wondering, what does Donald Trump have against Venezuela? Why is he so intent on putting us at war with Venezuela? It's a very interesting question. I don't have a great answer, but what I suspect is he is really frustrated that the U.S. Supreme Court has prevented him from deporting hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans who have legal status, who have protective status that was granted to them by the United States legal process. The MAGA Trump Supreme Court that Trump handpicked, that he rigged, still sometimes sides with the Constitution, still sometimes doesn't let Trump act like a dictator, and they are preventing Trump from unconstitutionally deporting hundreds of thousands of people. So instead, it sounds like he's taking out his rage on the country of Venezuela instead, and he wants to apparently blow people up before they come to our country. That is the type of fascist thug that we're dealing with right now, and this is not getting talked about enough. The president just posted a video of the Department of War blowing up a ship, committing an act of war, while telling us at the same time that there is no war going on. Well, we just saw it with our own eyes. We just saw it with our own eyes. I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is happening almost every day now. At the same time, Trump is admitting that he has no idea how to solve the crisis in Ukraine. He's saying that he underestimated Putin's desire for peace. Really? You know, I'm not sure Kamala Harris would have been a perfect president. She had a lot of problems. But one thing she warned about was that Donald Trump was going to be played by Putin. And Kamala Harris at least had the common sense understanding that Putin has no desire to end the war in Ukraine, because the war in Ukraine is one of the main factors keeping Putin in power right now. Just like Trump can point to undocumented migrants as the cause for all your problems, and just like he can point to what's going on in Venezuela, him blowing up ships, as how strong he is and how this is going to save American lives, Putin can direct all of Russia's problems towards Ukraine. He can say Ukraine is the source of all their evil. And so what happens if there's no more war in Ukraine? Well, then the pitchforks come for Putin. So this is common sense knowledge to pretty much every American, but unfortunately we have a fringe, far-right extremist minority that took power by rigging the game and also by too many people not voting. They say they won in a majority, they say they won in a landslide, that they got a mandate from the American people, when in reality millions of Americans didn't vote. And these are the consequences of that. So if there's one thing I can do with my platform, it's the one thing Charlie Kirk didn't do. People say all Charlie Kirk wanted to do was get Americans excited and engaged in the political process. What he was really doing was brainwashing impressionable teenagers and college kids to believe in far-right extremist ideology under the guise of Christianity. What I'm doing is actually getting people involved in the political process. Whether you're a young person, whether you're an older person, so many people need to be informed by what's really going on. And I don't mind if Trump supporters watch my show, because too many Trump supporters don't actually pay attention to what Trump says and does on a daily basis. They blindly support him. This is a game to them. This is football for them, right? It's a sport. It's like, let's beat the liberals. Haha, make the liberals cry. And meanwhile, innocent people in Venezuela get blown up thanks to your tax dollars.